But fear not. We have some fun to be had here. Nimesh Patel came out and said about Tucker Carlson's video, by the way, this is nonsense. Comedy's thriving. There was a reason I didn't do Tucker Carlson back in 2018. No one here is a martyr for comedy. Everyone featured in his trailer is selling out theaters and making dollars, myself included. Stop this fake victim bullshit. And we'll talk about the cop that killed himself too. Or not the cop, sorry, the Nazi that killed himself. Shit. I mean, sometimes same difference, but you probably remember this photograph. It's one of the more iconic and awful images of the Nazi torch march at UVA on August 11th, 2017. This was Charlottesville, the Unite the Right rally. The man in the center was elated to see himself on the cover of papers across the country. Today, I can tell you, he is dead. Teddy Von Newcomb, that's his real name, as he changed it in 2012, was identified as the torch-wielding man almost immediately by a former classmate who saw the viral photo. She told reporters she remembered him having an unsettling interest in Nazi Germany. After Unite the Right, in text messages to Christopher Cantwell, famous crier, a headliner at the Nazi rally, Von Newcomb said, "I'm a fucking legend, bro," and was thrilled to see his own face splashed all over the news and asked Cantwell to help propel him into the spotlight. That picture on the meme is front page news on multiple publications, even in the UK. Holy fucking shit. It's on the front page of the Daily Stormer. They even cropped up on me because I look so perfect for the shot. Lol. It's a good look, though. I look sexy as fuck. Everyone in the picture looks clean cut. True. But that picture makes me out to be the leader of the mob. I'm the most alpha looking right in the center. Fantastic aesthetics if I want to become a figure within the movement. You want to help propel me into the spotlight, brother? I mean, bro, this is the photo that he's talking about. You look like... everyone here looks like shit. You know what I mean? Like, everyone here looks like shit. What do you mean? This motherfucker saw this photo and thought, damn, bro, we look good. Don't me and the homies look good? Y'all just look like a bunch of fucking greasy losers. You literally look like bottom-dwelling 4chan scum. Like, all of you look inbred, man. All of you. Not a single one of you looks good here. Oh my God. But of course, when you are the David DePipe coalition, obviously, when you don't look so horrifyingly fucked up that like people immediately have a natural reaction, that's seen as a successful photo op. They're like, bro, I look kind of normal here. Don't you see that? How fire is that? I look like a fucking schlub in a goddamn Under Armour undershirt and a fucking black polo tee. Anyway, let's continue. These text messages, produced by Cantwell as part of the Signs v. Kessler lawsuit, also shows Von Newcomb bragging about committing an assault with details that seem to match a particularly infamous and brutal beating that sent 4 men to prison. Watch, Charlottesville alt-right Nazis beat random black people on YouTube. See if you can make me out. This was the start of the garage battle. It's quick moving and the video is blurry, but I had seen that video earlier and thought that was Ted's garage. Ha ha ha. I'm the guy that cracked that bleep in the face with a baton and was shouting, "Back the fuck off." Ha ha ha. Yeah, that dude. Yeah, dude, it was bloody business in the garage. There's plenty of violence on August 12, 2017, but the only assault Von Newcomb could be referring to, that bloody business in the garage, is the beating of DeAndre Harris, a young black man that was assaulted by half a dozen men in a parking garage. He was a 20-year-old special education aide. That's who you were beating on. 6. Jacob Goodwin, Daniel Borden, Alex Ramos, and Tyler Davis were all convicted of malicious wounding for their roles in the assault. 2 other participants, known only as Sunglasses and Redbeard, were never found. No one was ever even looking for a 7th assailant. These photos, taken by Z.D. Roberts minutes before the assault began, show Van Newcomb walking up Market Street towards the garage. He's walking in a group containing known assailants, Borden, Goodwin, Davis, Redbeard, and Sunglasses. Oh my God. Look at how ugly these motherfuckers are. They're such dorks, too. This video, also taken by Zach Roberts, shows the group walking up Market Street. Von Newcomb is holding a black baton in his hand and walking next to a man in a camo cap with a visible handgun on his hip. This is the guy. This is Von Newcomb. In this photo, also taken by Zach Roberts, shows Von Newcomb and Davis inside the parking garage moments after the assault took place. I reviewed the footage of the assault frame by frame and have identified the baton blow Von Newcomb bragged about delivering. After 6 primary assailants had finished, the victim attempted to flee. Injured, disoriented, and running for his life, he was then struck by a 7th man. I've cut together 3 videos of the same few seconds showing the very end of the assault. You can see the man in black swing a baton at the victim's face as he flees. Then a man in black chases him, baton raised, while another man points a handgun at the victim. Obvious content warning here. Like, you see the guy with the handgun? There's 6 dudes hate criming one black guy, special education aide, while also simultaneously they got guns, they got batons. Which answers this question asked of Traditional Workers' Party Matt Heimbach during the Sines v. Kessler trial. There was indeed a TWP member chasing after Mr. Harris. While Sunglasses and Redbeard are still wanted for the assault, no one was ever looking for Ted, and I'm not sure why. I have a brief reference in my notes from Jacob Goodwin's trial about a man his attorney called Johnny Cash because he's all in black, but that's it. But like I said, Ted Von Newcomb is dead, so it doesn't matter much now whether his role in this brutal assault could have been prosecuted. 2 years ago, I'm covering the story because it has a positive ending. Okay? Remember, there's a positive ending to this story. So just keep that in mind. 2 years ago, Ted Von Newcomb was driving over the U.S.-Mexico border into Arizona. Customs found 15 kilos of fentanyl under the back seat. That is hilarious. That the white supremacist Nazi was also fucking sneaking in fentanyl over the border. Von Newcomb told authorities that he'd been living in Mexico for several months with his wife and children, but had accepted money from a stranger to drive the package to the U.S. He claimed to not know anything about Victor or the contents of the 14 packages of fentanyl pills. After months of delays, Von Newcomb was set to go to trial for drug trafficking. He didn't show up in court. U.S. Marshals were unable to locate or contact him. His attorney couldn't reach him. Wife eventually notified the attorney that there had been an emergency. Last week, the federal charges against Teddy Von Newcomb were officially dismissed. He died on January 30th, 2023, the day his trial was set to begin. His obituary says he's survived by a wife and 5 children, ages 8, 7, 5, 3, and 6 months. Teddy Joseph Von Newcomb, the focal point of one of the most famous photos in the Nazi Torch March on the eve of Unite the Right, a traditionalist worker party member who escaped justice for his role in a brutal, racially motivated assault, an accused drug trafficker, died at the age of 35. The Daily Beast has confirmed that Teddy Von Newcomb died. Like I said, there's a good, there's a good end to this fucking story. about, as I included several clearly labeled photos, but the images are being used out of context to spread incorrect information. Teddy Von Newcomb is the man in the black t-shirt. What a great thread. He was paid, oh, this is so funny. Yeah. He was paid 460 USD worth of pesos to traffic that fentanyl. Hot take. That guy was a human being, a very disgusting one that needed to be punished, but a human nonetheless. Let's not celebrate a suicide that much. Sure. Or, fuck off, chatter. I will continue celebrating the suicide of a fucking Nazi who did a hate crime that we know of. No, I think it's pretty good. It's like being upset that the trash recycled itself. You know what I mean? Like, no, it took care of itself. Get fucked. Yeah, actually, get fucked. R.I.P. Bozo. Someone said, bring him back to life and do it again. Oh, yeah, no. Straight up, exactly. Did chatter just all lives matter a Nazi? Yeah, I mean, objectively, Nazi lives do not matter. Okay. Yeah, he followed the leader, dude. This is why my best friend doesn't like you. Why? Because I fucking celebrate the suicide of a fucking hate criming Nazi. Your best friend is also a piece of shit. Sorry to inform you, but you know, I'm going to keep it 150 with you. Your best friend sucks. Like, a lot, actually. Like, this is objectively one of the people that you can celebrate the downfall of. Like, straight up. There is not much worse that you can be than a fucking open, out and about Nazi celebrating hate crimes that you have engaged in. Sorry. Do feel bad for his kids. To be fair, it would almost be better for them without a Nazi dad for... Yeah, no, 100%. It's literally objectively better for these children to not be raised in a house with a fucking psychotic piece of shit dad like that. Straight up. Fuck you mean? Starting to sound a bit like anti-white discrimination? Fuck yeah, baby. You already know it. You already fucking know it, dude. Does anyone else want some? Does anyone else want to defend the Nazi who killed himself? Oh, well, someone said you celebrated a mass shooter or whatever. Wait, where is it? Where the fuck? I agree with you, but why do you think a mass shooter deserves to live? How is it different? You think I wouldn't be celebrating if that mass shooter killed himself? Bro, that mass shooter is also a Nazi. It's the same exact situation. If he killed himself, I would be celebrating. Fuck you mean? You think I would ever turn around? That's actually a great example. You think the Buffalo mass shooter kills himself? You think I'm going to be like, hey guys, it's actually very sad. Oh, guys, it's actually very sad that the fucking Buffalo mass shooter killed himself. Like, you think that's what I would say? What are you, fucking stupid? Bro, I'm not kidding. There is look, this kind of blind spot unironically comes from being white. Okay? You need to understand something. Like, as white as I am, and I am very fucking white. I mean, I'm literally wearing Realtree camo and a Carhartt jacket. Okay? It doesn't get more whiter than this. But I guess maybe because being Muslim, being Turkish, I have a different perspective on the matter. This is one area where, like, I truly cannot comprehend until I talk to some of my white friends. as to why you're like, well, he was a human being at the end of the day. Like, he killed himself. Like, no, man. No, he's not a human being. Like, make no mistake. He can become a human being eventually, maybe, if he does like one of those life after hate style things and like, offers restitution for the rest of his fucking life. And that's great and that's wonderful. But no, while he was a Nazi, and he certainly was until the very end when he killed himself, just like Hitler, he's not a human being. He's not. Because this isn't just a simple disagreement in opinion. This is not a simple disagreement. This is not like a guy who just has like different ideas about how, I don't know, how fucking the wealthy should be taxed. Like, that's not his take. His worldview revolves around executing entire swaths of the population. Hasan, I decide who is and who isn't human Piker. 100% I do. The irony is, people turn around and say, wow, you sound just like a Nazi. Why did you use "you sound just like a Nazi" when you say that? Because that guy's a fucking Nazi. Go ahead. Yeah. Factually, you are sympathizing with a Nazi. I just don't understand. I mean, it's hard, but this is something that, this is something that you have to understand. Like, when your worldview revolves around executing entire swaths of the population, okay, you are not a human being. You're a monster. But I don't want to say you're a monster because a lot of those people love being, like, feared. You know what I mean? So they're just vermin. They're scum. They got nothing. But go ahead. Explain your fucking empathy. Factually, Ashley. The death penalty is good because they death penalty themselves. Just the most normal anarchist in the chat. You know this is a fucking anarchist. I can smell your lack of showering. I can fucking smell the crust on you. What a fucking typical lifestylist bullshit ass fucking take. Woo! Not even a real anarchist, by the way. At least real anarchists are like all about direct action and shit. I'm talking about straight up lifestylists. Like, I have just, embodied the aesthetics of radical politics. You know what I mean? Boş yayınında iShow Speed. Bu ne ya? iShow Speed 3.7 milyon lira. Ne büyük adamsın ha. I mean, good, whatever. Who cares? Speed. Anyway. I'm not sympathizing. I just can't use their rhetoric against them. I can. And I am. I'll have you know I shower daily. Thank you very much. Don't insult me with the A word. Okay, well then you're just a liberal then, I guess. My bad. You're just in here yucking other people's yum, you know what I mean? Like, all you did was just fucking come across like you're defending a Nazi who killed himself and that we shouldn't celebrate a Nazi fucking taking out the trash himself. You know, it's good. It's a good thing. I guess maybe you can't comprehend how that person and his advocacy revolves around like executing you as well. Please don't bully Nazis. Every year, white supremacists are bullied simply because of the color of other people's skin and because they demand the subjugation and liquidation of other races and religions. History hasn't been easy for white people, even though they look exactly like Jesus, and it doesn't help those who identify as Nazis suffer from lifelong learning difficulties. Bullied Nazis often feel glum, which can damage their delicate sense of superiority. If you're a Nazi or a white supremacist who's being bullied and need a shoulder to cry on, please call the helpline number below. It just feels icky when he's leaving behind 5 kids. Fuck him in his disgusting worldview. Why? It is objectively better. It is objectively better that those kids are no longer brain damaged further by their fucking Nazi dad. Yeah, kids are better off without that dad. Trust me. Anyway. I mean, we're not even talking about like someone who's like kind of edgy or likes to make edgy jokes. You know what I mean? Like, still believe that you could rehabilitate Nazis too, but don't make a mistake. Like, if one of them kills himself, like, I'm gonna celebrate it. It's good. It's swift. It's effective. You know, it's good for humanity. And by the way, again, this isn't like I gotta repeat it again. This isn't like a fucking random, you know, edgy person or whatever. This is like a guy who was a part of the Nazi movement and wanted to be like a leader in the Nazi movement. Okay? The other guy in the photo actually reformed. Oh, the guy in the white t-shirt did reform? What is this? Unheard.com. Should we forgive extremists? Charlotte MacDonald. Barbie McDonald's sister. Charlotte MacDonald. Why don't you kill yourself? I'm going to come to Reno and kill you. Die Nazis come. Nearly 5 years ago. C. Tanovic traveled to Charlottesville, Virginia to attend the Unite the Right rally. A gathering of white nationalists included KK members. Blah, 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 blah. I was the face of white terror. At the time, he identified as a white nationalist, held racist views. He supported the deportation of migrants and the creation of a white-only state. By the time I met him, he had recanted. He was nearing the end of his master's in political theory at the London School of Economics. Oh, my God. Volunteering with the counter-extremism organization and optimistic about how he could use his experience to help understand and avoid the top-of-the-hour ad break, which comes at the top of every hour. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. I guess it's good that you know he's working on top-of-the-hour ad break avoidance. So that's at least one positive working for him right now. You too can avoid it by subscribing for $5 or for free, or with a gifted sub if you're lucky. That's right. Not many people know this, but you can avoid the top of the hour ad breaks with a gifted sub. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Watch him do a neo-Nazi hate crime. Chatters need to inspect their privileges. When they say stupid shit like it's insensitive to celebrate Jesus Christ. Yeah. I stood up in excitement for that dude's reformation, and now there's a fucking ad break. Wait, what do you mean? You should be celebrating that he's reformed and telling you how to avoid the top of the hour ad break. But his story raises difficult questions about how a person must go to make amends and whether efforts to silence people like him, however well-intentioned those efforts might be. For me, personally, as someone who is definitely privileged, okay? As someone who's definitely privileged in the form that, like, I am, you know, a white person, I understand when someone has the capability of reform, demonstrates that capability, and then literally works to make sure other people can reform as well. It's the best you can do. But part of something that you need to understand that comes along with that, and it's like this is the marker of a true reformed person, is the understanding that people from marginalized backgrounds might never trust you for the rest of your life. And you just got to live with that reality. Okay? Even if you've never done anything as horrific as like becoming the face of the Nazi movement, even if you have not done any of those things, like me, for example, a person who, tries to use their privilege for good on a regular basis, I still get shit on by people who say I'm a bad ally all the time. You have to just take it. There is no, that is what a confident person who is aware of his own worldview and his own perspective will do. You cannot be shook by people from marginalized backgrounds getting mad at you and unloading their fucking anxieties and frustrations on the world, on you individually. Okay? Barbie McDonald says white. This is something that a lot of you who are privileged in the chat need to understand. If there's one lesson I can instill in you, because you get frustrated, you get mad, you like want to lash out when trans people are like, don't play Hogwarts Legacy. That means you're a transphobe and you're a piece of shit. And you're like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Okay. You need to also follow through and recognize that a lot of that comes from never being able to fully comprehend where marginalized people are coming from and what kind of experiences they have. Okay. So remember that. If you truly have a real moral compass, if you truly have politics rooted within empathy specifically for marginalized people, if you understand structural problems, one of those things is having unshakable confidence in your worldview. You cannot be fucking bothered when, people say all men are trash, for example. Another one, when you see misandry, you just laugh at it. It's just, who cares? Move on with your life. Because there is truth ultimately in the power that you have as a privileged person. Okay? They're not coming at it. Telling a marginalized person to calm down is not appropriate anytime. Okay, shut the fuck up. I'm not going to go that far, okay? Don't be ridiculous. But ultimately, understand that, no matter how dismissive you are, okay, I'm not saying that, like, marginalized people are infallible, okay? I'm not saying marginalized people are infallible or can make no mistakes or all of their frustrations are valid all the time, nonstop, and should be treated with the utmost importance, okay? There are going to be moments, if you're privileged, where marginalized people shit on you, okay? They use you as a punching bag, and you're going to feel weak. And you're going to get upset. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? I'm trying my best. And people constantly fucking say this shit that is just objectively untrue. But ultimately, you have to understand where people are coming from, okay? Where people are coming from, where their anxieties and their frustrations come from. Especially if their frustrations and their anger is valid. Being angry at J.K. Rowling is valid. Is true, is understandable. She is a giant piece of shit. Okay? A giant transphobic piece of shit. You can't fucking get mad at, or you can't stay mad and like have people that you are aligned with or people who you defend not recognize your incredible allegiances. Okay? Who gives a fuck? Okay? It's an amazing video about how some hippie music shit turning music heads. What? No, I don't want to watch this, dude. Leftists need to bite their goddamn tongue every once in a while. I mean, it's the same for everyone. It's just like I take shit from the left all the fucking time. But ultimately, it's real. Like what they're getting upset about, no matter how ridiculous it is that it's like directed at me, is still a very real and very valid anger and frustration that they feel. I recognize that, Which is why whenever people fucking chirp at me, I tell you, like, whenever people chirp at me and say, oh, you're rich, fuck you, you're a grifter, you're a rich grifter, for example. You do not care about workers' rights, okay? When I hear that shit, it frustrates me, it upsets me, it hurts my feelings, but ultimately, my life is pretty fucking good. And that is something that I, use to recenter myself. Because there is truth to that. My life is pretty fucking solid. And I get why they're angry. I understand it. I understand where their frustration and their resentment comes from. So I don't fault people too much for it. And you shouldn't either. Okay? Mental gymnastics. If you want to consider it mental gymnastics, then you can. But maybe it's good mental gymnastics. You need to parse through petty grievances. You need to figure out who's doing the critique for what purpose. Because sometimes people are just like launching or lashing out with misdirected anger. But the rage and the frustration that they feel with the system is completely normal. Okay? It's completely normal. Other times, some people do it for their own personal benefit. They use frustrations that maybe they have and others have as well to try and like build a following for themselves. I often will call out those people. Sometimes I realize I shouldn't call out those people because like ultimately they are still, sometimes they're trans, sometimes they're non-binary, sometimes they're like black women, you know what I mean? And I over time I've gotten better at not getting mad at them, even if they are grifters ultimately. Okay? If you don't mind listening to a 2-minute audio clip, this was the best nuanced take coming from a trans person. Don't ask for absolution from me.
About
what is this?
I'll be honest.